As the world grapples with multiple conflict-driven famines around the world, climate shocks and the COVID-19 pandemic are exacerbating those fragilities, as the need for silencing guns everywhere becomes more urgent by each passing day.
In some countries, famine is already here. People are dying from hunger and suffering critical rates of malnutrition. Parts of Yemen, South Sudan, and Burkina Faso are in the grip of famine or conditions akin to famine. And more than 150,000 people are at the risk of starving. In Yemen, 5 years of conflict have displaced 4 million people across the country.
South Sudan is facing its highest levels of food insecurity since independence 10 years ago. In the DRC, nearly 20 million people face acute hunger, making it the world's largest hunger emergency, while hunger crises are growing in the Sahel, the Horn of Africa and Afghanistan, among other countries facing instability.
These looming famines have two things in common. They are primarily driven by conflict, and they are entirely preventable. With modern forecasting, improved agricultural practices, and effective humanitarian organizations, natural disasters are no longer plunge populations into famine.
The most vulnerable in those societies, often women and girls, bear much of the acute hardships, while the most powerful countries are often to blame for their predicament.
The Council must take genuine action to support the Secretary General's call for a global ceasefire, urgently, ensuring humanitarian access, ensuring the inclusion of women from the beginning of the process. It took 4 months for this Council to support the initial call for a ceasefire.
The World Food Programme and the Food and Agriculture Organization have appealed for $5.5 billion in extraordinary resources to avert catastrophe for the 34 million people currently facing acute hunger globally. Sherman Briceby, SABC News, New York.